Journal entry for June 12th, 2026. There are things that won't make sense yet because I did not record a lot of previous videos and things that just happened in the last week. Okay, so I'm just gonna start. I was awake. I woke up laying in bed. I was really comfortable. It wasn't too hot. It was much cooler. I was really debating whether to get up or just go back to sleep. And then I got up to use the bathroom, and then I'm like, I might as well just go to the soup kitchen. And there's one soup kitchen I'm not going to anymore. But there is a second soup kitchen I was invited to, and it's only open 3 days a week, and they only do lunch. So this is the soup kitchen that I am going to now. It's farther away. The food seems to be better quality, but it's smaller meals. They give away free clothing and free household items. It's like a little thrift store. So there's a lot of things to like. And it seems that the enemies are now coming to this soup kitchen. They came to the last soup kitchen, and then I stopped going. So now the new enemies I have are following me. They have followed me to the soup kitchen. It's like 3.5 miles away, I think. So I end up getting there like 15 minutes late or 20 minutes late, like, because it says they serve from 11 to noon, and I showed up late. Well, it turned out that I was right on time, because when I walked in, there were still people in line, so they had just started serving. So what I think happened is that they were serving late because they were waiting for me. And I know they were waiting for me because the scope and scale of the possible enemies in the attacks that were lined up. There was a lot of witchcraft. Nothing stuck, nothing prospered, but there was a lot of attacks at the soup kitchen today. So when they were serving food, they had a choice between pork and chicken. And I think the pork was eaten up by the other people before I got there. So I don't even know if they still had pork. They might have. But the server put a piece of chicken on my plate. And then they also had pie as dessert, not cake. And I didn't really like pie, so I didn't get any. I know it sounds silly, but these are all attacks on me. And these are things that aren't that important. But maybe they are important if this is one of the things I look forward to. I don't have money to go and buy my own cake. So when they serve only pie, well, people from my past knew that I didn't really like pie that much. So they are going and finding information out about me and using it and what foods they are serving. And there was also like something that looked like collard greens, and I think they put bacon in it. So the woman didn't even put it on my plate. So there was probably pork in that. And the point of this is so that all of the people in the soup kitchen eat the pork, and they are influenced by the spirits. As evil spirits can possess pig, they usually do, since it's eaten by humans. It's a really simple open door. It's the original sin that we are still cursed by. Now, of course, I doom scrolled on Facebook instead of recording this right away, so now I'm very tired. So the people at the soup kitchen went and got information. They were doing a lot of research to find out what I don't like. And there was many attacks and traps laid. Nothing too bad, but I would have liked some cake. They know what kind of cake I like. They know I don't eat pork, and I've told them not to eat. Excuse me. I've also informed them that they're not allowed to eat pork either. So it's not just me, it's everybody. And so now that I've already informed them, it's their free will decision on what to do. Um, so, a lot of pork. There was a side with pork in it. There was an entree with pork in it. There was only pie. They normally have cake. They have cake almost every day. So this was an attack. And one thing I will say is, oh my goodness, almost forgot. I showed up late. And there was a lot of cars and a lot of bikes. And I tried to lock my bike up to the rail, but it wasn't fitting well because another bike was already on the rail. And so I think there was like 5 bikes at the soup kitchen. So there was even more vehicles. The soup kitchen was packed. And they had people in there I have never seen before. And this day, an entire group of Haitians had come to the soup kitchen to get me, and some didn't seem like they wanted to get me. I don't know. But some were attacking, some were curious. So I believe they were being sent there, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily wanted to attack me. And who knows what they have been told? I don't know. But I did notice this day at the soup kitchen, it was full. This is the only time I've been there, and every table was like full. And I didn't even know they were Haitian until I sat down, and I heard them speaking something that was not English. And in the church, I believe they spoke French. But so an entire Haitian coven was sent to the soup kitchen to get me. There was also a few guys from the old soup kitchen that I stopped going to. But before, I gotta rewind. When I showed up and I was trying to lock my bike, it was taking a little bit longer. Because there were so many bikes there. And then I was smelling cigarettes. And they've been telling everybody, don't smoke within 10 feet of the building. Well, this man was anyways. He was right up next to the building and smoking, and it was like the way the wind was blowing, that secondhand smoke was going right onto me. And this was on purpose, and it was to get my attention, so I would know. This is a man I have never seen before. And he was out there to let me know he had gotten some karma. And I know this very well by the body language, by the way he looked at me, by the way he behaved. So he was sitting out front of the soup kitchen and was not inside, even though they were already supposed to be serving food. And when I showed up, he was smoking. And then it took me a minute, and then I came around to the door, and I saw him, and he looked at me, and then when I started to go to the door, then he was in front of the building, and then he wheeled forward around the stairs, and then came in the direction I was going to show me his karma. So he was on one side of the door. I was locking my bike at the bike rack on this side. Here's the steps. He was over here against the building. And then once I lock my bike and turn around, then I see him start to wheel forward and look at me and keep going. And he had put the cigarette out at that point. The cigarette was so that I would notice him, because this is one of their attacks. But then, as I was going into the door, he rolled forward so I could see, and then went in front of me so I could see that this man was in a wheelchair. He informed me he probably tried to murder me, and his karma was now he is in a wheelchair. So I don't want this to happen. Maybe he just broke a leg. I didn't see a cast. I didn't look too close. I don't know if he was paralyzed or just had an injury, something that would get better in 6 months or something. I don't know. But I could tell he was showing me his karma. I go in, and I first of all notice the soup kitchen is completely full. Last time I went, it was like maybe a fifth as many people, like 20% as many people in there. This time, every table was full. And I went to get in line. Maybe that's why they were still serving, because there were so many people there. After I got in line, a big man, he was tall and big, a very large man, came into the line behind me. And I had my water bottle that was empty. And so I think someone got some water and then left. So then I went to get, this is when he came behind me. So then I went up to get some water, even though I was still in line, because when you're getting your food, then it's in the way. Like, the drinks are at the same place as the trays and where you get your food. So it's hard to describe, but there's not really time to do both. Like, I had my water bottle, I wanted to fill it and put it away in my bag so I'd have free hands to get my tray. And also, the counter is usually sticky. So I just went up and I said, you mind if I get some water? And I got some water. And it was a little bit blocking somebody, but it wasn't rude, and it was understandable. Then a man, this is when the large man came behind me. Because when I turned around to get back in, so I was the last person in the line, and no one else was there. And I didn't think anyone else was coming. I went to get water at the table and then get back into line. So everyone knew I was already in line. And when I came back within, 10 seconds or so, because you got to lift the tap, there was a large man behind, and he was standing in my space. Then I got in front of him. So the person in front of me was kind of like going like this. So if that's not a gift. If that was a gift in your idea of a curse, I send it back and I send it to the courts of heaven. And so it can be prosecuted as a fraud and a scam. If you people put trash and broken things on the ground and I bike over it, that is not a gift, and you cannot curse me for that. That is trash. And you knew I was in line. If you run up there, that's not a gift to give me my own place back. That is a fraud and a scam. So I send that to the courts of heaven. Anyways. And then the man behind me was like, oh, I saw you on your bike. He didn't say it mean, but he said it kind of loud, like, so he let me know. He saw me on my bike, and he came in after me. People show up early to this soup kitchen, so they don't miss out. Well, what I believe he was admitting is this was another enemy, and I have never seen this man before. I have never seen him at the soup kitchen before. So I got in line, and then just went to put some water in my water bottle, like 10 feet away, and then come back. Everyone knew I was in line. Then this man was there, and he told me, I saw you on your bike. I know it's hot. I saw you out there on the bike. He didn't say it mean. It wasn't polite or mean, but it was letting me know. He saw me on the bike. Then he came to the soup kitchen. If he saw me on the bike, then vehicles go faster than bikes. So if he passed me driving in a car and was going to the soup kitchen, he would have been in line before me. But no, he was in line after me. That meant he saw me and followed me to the soup kitchen, and they just did a bunch of witchcraft spells. So then as it was my turn to get my tray, then a woman came in front and started filling her water. They never do it like this. She did it in a way that it was blocking me and it was rude. And then the woman on the other side was so the volunteer was pretending to be nice this day. I think she gave me pork before. And she was like, oh, sweetie, do you want this? And then, and she was acting real nice. And of course, I wasn't sure if she was talking to me, They do this on purpose, and I couldn't see her because someone was refilling their water right in front of me. So I did refill mine in front of someone, but I wasn't quite, I was a little in their way, but it wasn't that extreme. This person came in and like really pushed me out of the way. And then the volunteer asked me a question when I couldn't see her. So this was an attack. I understand. And then I got my food. Then they had several things with pork and just pie, so I passed on that. So my plate was not as big as normal, even though they don't have big trays there. I had little less food, so I wasn't stuffed or anything. Also, they had these like Spindrift soda things, like carbonated flavored water, and they rolled it out on a cart, and it was free for everyone. So I went to get one of those, and I was also going to get a coffee. So I had to get a mug, then come back. This is another thing. Where you get your coffee is where they give you your trays of food. But you got to go past that to get the mug, and then come back, and then other people are already there. So it's just in the way. They do this on purpose. So it will be annoying and inconvenient. So I go over to the cart to get a drink. Sun Hat Man is there, and he's trying to, like, how many sugars is in this drink? Well, he can't see it, and he's holding it away, and it's in his hand, and it's the only one of this flavor, and the woman there is like, some of them have sugar in them. And then I pick up a different one and look at it, and I try to look at the one in his hand. I understood shortly what he was doing. They have researched me. They have researched me to find out, well, they know I don't eat pork, and they have researched to find out that I don't really like pie. And they have researched to find out that I don't like to touch dirty things. And they have researched me to find out that I don't like to touch handles and things in bathrooms. And I'll use a paper towel to turn, like, the door handle and stuff. So they know this. I don't like to touch filth. And so this man for me to be able to actually read the ingredients on this can, I would have to hold it. And it was in his hand. And that to me made me think it was, maybe he didn't wash his hands first. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Sometimes they've got dirty hands and touch things and want me to touch it. This is one of their attacks. So, it didn't have any added sugar. Then I get one of these. I get one of these drinks, and I get my coffee mug, and then I gotta go back to the coffee urn. And then there's another man. He jumps. There was no one at this coffee urn, or whatever it is. It's the thing that dispenses the coffee. There was no one there, and now when I come back, there's a man that's come in. This is another attack. And he's getting the coffee, and he's taking his time, and he's doing it in the way. And that's fine if it's random, that's fine. But he did it on purpose. Just like the woman, she jumped up, ran up, and she did it on purpose. And then I sat my drink on the counter so that I could hold my tray with one hand and my coffee mug, or I could sit so I sat my soda on the counter because I also had a coffee mug and my tray. And so it was near this man, but then this man was filling his coffee. Then he reaches over and he touches the top of my drink, right where you put your mouth. He puts his hands on it, and then he picks it up and puts it back. And I said, you can have it if you want. Like, he asked, then he acted like, oh, that's yours. And then I said, you can have it if you want. He's like, then he left it. So he just touched the top of my drink and moved it a little and took his time and blocked me from the coffee. So when he was done, I got my coffee. I picked up my drink from the bottom. I put it back on the cart, and I got another one. No thank you, sir. So maybe his hands were clean, or maybe he touched something dirty and did not wash his hands. I don't really know, because there are two people I have seen go number 2 and not wash their hands and then touch food, other people's food. And I have seen them put this into food as well. So I'm not trusting that. The whole place is packed, so I sit someplace I've never sat. I'm kind of by myself. People are kind of locked together, so I recognize this as a spell. There's a spell that makes people it's almost like you're invisible, like they're all engaging with each other and you're just alone. This type of, sometimes it makes them not like you too, but this time it was just like, oh, I think I know how they did it. This time, like, no one was talking to me, and they were all, and I think because people got the pork, they were all eating pork. So the server did not give me any of the collard greens, which they usually put bacon in, and everyone else got it, and so they were under this spell with the pork. And that wasn't too big a deal. I ate my food. It was good. It just wasn't enough. It was not enough food. And, but my coffee was pretty good. And then they had the whole table set up, and they had a thing with laundry detergent on it. It wasn't enough for everyone. So they were doing drawing with numbers and raffle tickets. Okay, so when I finished eating, I ate with my fork because I touched my tray and stuff after. I don't know. They were probably trying to touch things and make it dirty, so I ate with my fork, and then my hands were also greasy or something. I don't know. So I don't remember. But then I went to the bathroom to wash my hands. And there's a paper towel dispenser that I use, and it was empty. This is the only time it has been empty. And they had a roll of paper towels, and it was sitting on the bench. And I don't trust this. I don't trust it because there are a lot of enemies. They're like all enemies. Probably, I mean, it could have been brand new. Nothing wrong with it. There's also a chance somebody rubbed it down their ass and then sat it there for me to use. Either one is just as likely at this point. But then luckily I had a napkin in my bag, so I was able to use the napkin. And I will say there are people with spirits that they do not wash their hands, but they touch things and contaminate it. So I don't trust anything in the bathroom. It was a full kitchen this day. There was a giveaway, but that wouldn't normally bring people in. And I didn't realize at first, but then, okay, so when I went to wash my hands and came back, where I was sitting was now full and my seat was taken. And I got there so late that new people normally would not show up this late. You might have a homeless person on drugs or something, but no. New people came in while I was in the bathroom for a couple minutes. It was like 1 or 2 minutes. And then when I came out, my seat was taken and I had to sit somewhere else. And all the seats were full, but there was a spot with like 2 seats that were free, and I went to sit there. And this is what they do to get me to sit in a certain location at times. So then there was a couple there, and they were just staring at their phone and ignoring me. And of course, the seat where I sat, the placemat in front of me had food crumbs and food mess all over it, so I couldn't put my bag on it. So these are all little curses they do. So I just put my bag on my lap. These people across from me were just ignoring me, and then I was just not paying attention. Like, I was trying to, like, leave them alone or whatever, because they were staring at their phones. They did not, weren't really interested. But, let me think what happened. I cleaned off my glasses. I don't know. I did a few things, and then it was just like we were sitting there, and like everyone was done eating, and we were just waiting and waiting. And this kitchen is supposed to close at 1, and I understand what I believe was going on, as there was more people than they expected because a large coven of Haitians has arrived. But the thing is, I'm not sure that they attacked me. There was a Haitian man a couple days ago that biked past me and did a curse on me. But this day, I don't know if any of them attacked me. There is a witch in there that she did some things, but she's not Haitian, I don't think. If she is, she went before, and she's not with the group. She is actually she's a very stoic, aggressive-looking witch. So, or she looks very mean, very evil. But anyways, she's still a person. Let's see. So then, just we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then a few seats down and over, I hear someone, like an older woman, complaining, it's afternoon, and basically, like, what's taken so long? It never takes this long, essentially. So people were just sitting there, and I know they were trying to give them time to attack me. They had all been given these pork spirits, and the volunteers are involved. They are in on it. They were trying to give them time to do something to me, and I saw them looking around, but no one, I don't think any of these Haitians actually attacked me. Maybe they did, but I didn't see it, is the thing. But they were sent there to attack me, and actually, once we were sitting down, then a man from the other soup kitchen I used to go to, I heard him say, he said real loud, they should start passing out the $20 bills here. He showed up this day, they are packed, and he said they should start passing out the $20 bills here. And as I've said in a previous video, I figured out that's how they are paying people to attack me, is that a rich person comes in and hands everyone a $20 bill, then all of them attack me. And this is like selling out to the devil for a $20 bill. It's not worth it. You're going to lose a lot more than $20, and God will not let anything, like, annoying things happen, yes, but God doesn't let me be killed. God doesn't let anything too bad happen. So but then after a period of time, then I do talk just a little bit. There's a woman across from me. I understood she was Haitian because I heard her say something to the man next to her in a different language. I'm like, oh, she's Haitian. That's why there's so many people in here. They were Haitians, and they also brought in a few other older people that aren't normally there. And they were brought in to attack me too, and they did. But it wasn't anything too bad. So, actually, I talked to the Haitian. I said, do you know any English? She said, like, a little, and she also knew some Spanish. And I could have said, un poco hablo español. I remember that. I remember that from high school. But I did it. That would have been silly. There's no point in, like, there's no point in that. But she actually wasn't rude to me, but they had their cell phones, and I think they might have been recording. They might have been, like, kind of discreetly. It wasn't pointed right at me. A lot of times they'll have someone point their phone right at me and record. But actually, they had their phones, and I think they possibly were there to record. Because when I came back from the bathroom, all of the seats were full, and here's an opening right here. So that was left open for me to sit there, and they had their phones out. So there's no such thing as a coincidence. So they did the raffle. There were so many people. They were calling the numbers, and I had number 4. And the grand prizes were the laundry detergents. They had these big jugs of detergent that were like double size. They're like 10-pound things of laundry detergent. So everybody wanted these. The stuff on the table was good, but it was used kind of thrift store stuff. So, and I like that. But people showing up, so people that go to the soup kitchen can get the free stuff normally. They give it out quite a lot. But they don't normally have laundry detergent. That's not very often. So the laundry detergents were the grand prize, and they didn't have enough for everyone. But there was numbers on so they were on a rack, and they had numbers on them. And it took me a minute to understand how the raffle worked. Is that there was different numbers, and we would go to different locations based on what our number was. And the detergents had numbers on them. So if your card had a number on it and the bottle of detergent had that number on it, you would get that detergent. So like a bottle of detergent had like 23 on it. Then the person with a card that said 23 would get that laundry detergent. If a bottle of laundry detergent had a card on it that said 21, then you would get that detergent. Well, when I figured out how it worked, then I noticed there was a big jug of detergent with a 4 on it, and I had a 4 card. Now, I don't really need detergent, I'm going to say, because I can't get my clothes washed in. Well, I could if I charge it on a credit card and bike someplace. But anyways, then even sorting the laundry is too difficult at this point. I need a different solution, honestly. It's too much. I don't have the trash bags. I don't have the money for the trash bags. I don't have the money for the laundromat. So anyways, they did not call my number. They called some people's numbers twice, which should not happen. So, of course, I wasn't really noticing whose number was what until they called number 17. And like, who's number 17? Because I see a lot of 17s. And the head witch, I would say she's a very high-level black witch. And she actually looks like, you know how pit bulls have evil eyes sometimes? She's got eyes like that. But they're pretty cool looking. Because maybe it's contacts. Because her eye color is like lighter. So it looks like a wolf eye or something. But anyways, this woman looks kind of evil. And she, I know she's an enemy. But the enemies come, they still look cute to me. I don't know what it is. They're like, oh, cute little demons when I see them. But anyways, so they take forever and they don't call, well, they're calling all these numbers. They're calling some of the numbers twice. And then there was a 22. Someone else significant came up on that. They give, so I don't know what's going on. But I remember 17 was this head witch that I saw last time. And when, and they don't even call my number. And I'm sitting, like, closest to the volunteers that have and they're like, well, what card do you have? And I had a 4. So, what happened is, they knew I had a 4 because I opened it up and looked at it. And there's people behind me that saw. So, so they were not calling my number. They called other people's numbers, and they called some numbers twice. Then, this older woman, and I believe she looked like she was Jewish. I don't know. I'm just guessing. She had light skin, but she looked like she might be ethnically Jewish. She goes up right before they look at my card to let me come up. And she goes up, and she takes, and I want to say steal, because it is stealing, but I believe they planned this together. There was only so many jugs of detergent, and it was not enough for everyone. There was a big jug of detergent with the number 4 on it, and I said, I knew that was my detergent, because I had the number 4. Well, right before, this old Jewish, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm saying this might be a reason why some people, like a lot of times the Christians attack me because they're practicing witchcraft. A lot of times, and then I don't really know about the Haitians. So, like a man came and attacked me, but this day I don't know they really did. A lot of the witches attack me, of course, because I'm praying over these buildings and destroying their altars and canceling their assignments. But there might also be spiritual reasons why someone who's Jewish would reject someone that God calls Christ. And so she came right up and took the detergent and left. And then the volunteer's like, oh, what number do you have? And I said 4. And then she just said, come on up. And I'm like, oh, someone took the detergent. Someone took the detergent that had 4 in it. Yeah, this Jewish woman came up, and I'm just saying that because I think so. I'm going to call her that to remember who it is. She came up right before they let me get something. And then this woman took the card off another, and she'd take this one if you want. Now this might be a gift, which would curse me, but I actually thought maybe this is also a sign from God. Because I had a choice to either take the detergent or go around the tables and pick something else. So a woman came up and took my thing of detergent. So at that point, then I told the volunteer, someone took the 4. And then, so she just took the number off something else and said, you can have this one if you want. Or so you can take this if you want it. It was probably a curse had I taken it, but that wasn't why I didn't take it. I kind of figured it's a sign. So I went to the back and I saw this big coffee machine. It was like a Cuisinart coffee machine. And I don't know if it works or not, but it looked nice. And you get one item. So I decided, okay, you guys took that detergent, and that's your attack on me. I don't get the grand prize that everyone wants. That's fine. And then the volunteer was like, we'll take this one instead, so I would still get the detergent. I'm like, and I kind of meandered around, and I got a coffee machine, and I did not get the detergent. If they want it, let them have it. So I got this big coffee machine, and as I was walking through, I saw a Haitian man. And I think he glanced at me before, but he looked at me as I was coming through. I believe he could see the Holy Spirit. And I don't think he wanted to attack me. He was looking at me like he recognized him. Now, he's more stoic. He's not as silly as the American Christians. But he looked at me in a way that I think he could see the Holy Spirit. But he saw me with the coffee machine. Now, it's this thing. I could be wrong because I'm not really sure what he was thinking. But the way he looked at me is he was sent, probably this whole group was sent to attack me. And he looked like he actually would not attack without finding out if I should be attacked. So it looked like he was observing. And then he was looking at me as I was coming back from the table towards my seat. And it's like he was looking at me like he could see the Holy Spirit. I believe he saw something, that he was drawn to me or acknowledged that I serve the Lord. That I am on God's side. That God protects me. I don't know. I'm only guessing. This man did not attack me or anything. He actually seemed like probably a good guy, but he was sent to get me, or people maybe told him I was bad. I don't know. But he didn't see that. He just saw a woman walking with a coffee machine. And if you have the ability to discern in the spirit, then you can tell who's good or not. So clearly I don't look like I'm evil. Let's see what's going on here. But now I did have the problem of having this giant coffee machine. And they called numbers again. And actually, as soon as I noticed they were going to have this raffle, actually, on my way to the soup kitchen, I'm talking to God. And I know that I'm late, and sometimes the food's all gone by this time. A lot of times when I show up later, then the food's kind of gone, or they've given it away already. This might have been an attack. So then I just prayed to God, because I'm a little bit late. If I could have something yummy to eat, or if you want me to eat here, if I could have something good to eat, or just that God would provide what I should have. So there's no need to stress about being late or anything. Just I talked to God. It's just a short thing. Acknowledging that I was late. No stress, no worrying, but giving it to God. If you want me to have something, and I would prefer something yummy, then I trust you, Lord, that it will be there. And then when I was sitting at the table and we were just waiting and waiting and waiting for this raffle, then I realized they're probably going to try not to call my number, or a bunch of people will go up first. And I just kind of talked to God a little bit. If there's something you want me to have, then I'll get it. And then I don't need to worry. Because God's got this. So they were thinking that I would want to get a detergent. But actually, I went to the back and I got a coffee machine. I got a coffee. And then, a lot of people went, and then they got 2 things. And then I went to get my second item. and they had a milk frother. It was called like a Cocoa Mania or something. I don't. So it was just what I could use. That's what I wanted. And this coffee machine is big. It's like big like that. So then I immediately take it, and I'm not running, I just walk over to where the bags are. I put one bag on this side, one bag on that side, and I dig through and I find one large bag. So they've got, this might not make sense. There's a table on the side that's got like CDs, little odds and ends they give away. And then there's a basket with a bunch of bags in it. And that's so when people get their free stuff, they put it in the bags. There's a lot of like Walmart bags, Dollar General bags. You know, those are grocery store size. But there was only one big bag. And for an item like this coffee machine that is large, it was large and heavy. This is a heavier model. And it had a glass carafe. I would normally want to double bag this, and I would need a bag big enough for it to fit in. But I found one bag, and every time it's a challenge, but every time, no matter what, it works out. So, excuse me, guys. Okay, so, now there's more attacks. So they sent all those Haitians in there to get me. And I could be wrong. Maybe they did something I didn't notice. Oh, I was to say, they called the number 17 twice. So, I don't want to say Black Witch. Wolf Witch. This witch is different because she looks more evil. Like, she's got wolf eyes. She's very, serious. She's probably about my size, but she's very serious. And she's probably a little bigger than me, but she looks like somebody that you don't want to mess with. But I just talk to her, and I treat her like everyone else. But, you know, it looks kind of cool. But you can't, we're not allowed to use witchcraft, and we're not allowed to be mean to people. Anyways, she got number 17, and this makes me think they gave her that number on purpose. Because they called the number 17 twice. So she got, and they didn't call, so she went up twice before I went up once, I think. And then right before, they're like, what number do you got? Let me see that. Then the Jewish woman comes up and she takes my detergent. But that's fine, because God wanted me to have something even better. A coffee machine. I do have instant coffee now. But actually, this coffee machine will make better coffee. So, I don't want to forget. Oh, when I left. So they probably just assumed I've got a big coffee machine, and then I got this milk frother thing is like the size of a blender. It's big. It's really nice. I was like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. I don't know if it works yet. A lot of times people will donate stuff that's broken or stuff that's damaged, but this actually looked like it was pretty clean and stuff. So, I didn't know if it'd work or not, but I was getting them home. And I was like, thank you, God. I was happy. As I walked back with my coffee machine, I was happy. And I put it in the bag, and I'm thinking, how do I get this? And so I had another Walmart bag, and I had this big bag, and I tied the Walmart bag around the side to cinch it up so it wouldn't drag so low. And then the handles were over the top. This was important. Otherwise, the bag would have gotten ripped up in my bike tires. I go outside. Actually, wait, this is what happened. Before I went outside. Okay, do I say wolf witch? Wolf witch? Maybe should I say wolf witch? Because she's got that kind of serious... So, it's like it's like 12:50, 12:52 or something. There's not much time. You're supposed to be out the door at 1. And I've got my stuff in a bag, and then I'm still thirsty. So I get one of their cups, I go over to the water dispenser, and I get a cup of water, and I just sit there calmly, and I'm drinking the water. I'm going to do this before I go, because they're not closed yet. I got a few minutes. Wolf Witch is on the other side, and she's looking straight at me, and she's staring at me. Actually, that's what, when they called her number twice, the second time, she was proud. Like this, like, and she was, and I think she was kind of like, she was doing this kind of in front of me. So I think it was like, she was trying to be like, I got you. I got two things. I got a detergent and something else. And she was acting like she won. That's what it was. It looked like she was kind of boasting that she won. But I didn't care. I got what I wanted that day. I wanted the coffee machine, and I wanted the milk frother. No one else wanted this. I bet everybody else has got a Cuisinart coffee machine, and it's not that expensive, honestly. But this was a lot to me, and it's just what I needed. And then when it's about time to go, I'm getting a glass of water before I leave. And so I'm on this side, and over on this, Wolf Witch is over on this side, and she's just facing me and looking right at me. And I'm just calmly drinking my water, and she's looking right at me. And maybe she's confused. I don't know, because it wasn't seething, and it wasn't sad, and it wasn't happy. She was sitting there just kind of like this. Like, she didn't know what to think. Because their attacks don't do anything. They get me. Oh, I didn't get the detergent, but I got something I wanted more. And had I got the detergent, I might not have gotten the milk frother too. Because I didn't know, are they going to let me go back again? A lot of people go back again. No one wanted that milk frother. Oh, it's called Cocoa Motion. It looks stupid. I understand a lot of people don't want this, but I want it. And it looks like it'll make some really good froth milk, actually. Anyways, so then I go outside, and like everyone, so then I go to leave. Then there is Guitar Case Man out there. Now he's already got his karma. So I just talk to him nice, and he just talks to me, and I don't see him trying to curse me anymore. He got karma, and now he walks with a limp. He had to get cortisone shots. I think he had to get surgery. Now he walks with, so maybe he he slipped and fell, and he maybe damaged something. I don't think he broke his leg or anything like that, but maybe the tendon or something was damaged. I don't know. I forget what he said. But this happened the day after I fell on my bike. I fell on my face. And this could have killed me, honestly, but the Lord won't allow me to die. So this man deserved his karma. What they did to cause me to fall on my bike in the winter, as I said, oiled the tracks, iced the tracks, oiled the tracks. The bike went in and flipped me onto my face. I've got a video of a big scab here, but really, the fact that I still have my face, God was protecting me. I felt myself land on my face, and it impacted my nose, my lip, and my chin, but then I felt like an angel kept it from hitting harder. So then I just bounced, and I flipped around some more. So the next day, I found out later. So that was Monday, and then on Tuesday, Guitar Case Man slipped and fell, and then he has to go to the hospital. So, because he told me this a week later when I saw him at the soup kitchen. They have to come up and tell me when they get karma. So I gotta go get surgery and all this and that. Now he walks with a limp. But actually, I saw him outside the soup kitchen today. And he could have killed me from what he did. So, he deserved, God knows what he deserved. He lured me, I got a guitar case for you, meet me at the soup kitchen this day. I come in, they have done something to the tracks, the train tracks that are on the way to the soup kitchen. And they had someone in a vehicle sitting there watching. But anyways, now I come out, and I saw one of these bikes. It's pink and yellow, and it's looks vintage, and it's real fancy looking. This is Guitar Case Man's new bike. I didn't know it was his. So he's basically, as I come out, he's got his bike right there, a few feet away from me, and he's rolling it down the ramp. I said, "Oh, that's your bike?" He's like, "Oh yeah." And he's like, he sounds like he's real proud of his bike, but he said it was a Jimmy Buffett bike, and it was like $550. I don't know if this is true. It could be though. It could be, because I don't see other bikes that look like that. I'm gonna say it could have been a 500. He said he got it on eBay and it was $550. That it's got like that vintage cruiser look, and it's white, it's got yellow and pink and designs, and it's a rare limited edition Jimmy Buffett bike. And I'm like, well, that's cool. And I said, no one can steal that. Well, then the big man that was MK Ultra Man does not go to this new soup kitchen. He brought his friend in, which I'm going to call the Clean Your Plate Man. And I'll tell you more about what a hypocrite he is later. But Clean Your Plate Man is a big man, and he's got red hair and freckles. But he was the one following me on the bike. But he couldn't catch me. He was going fast, but he couldn't catch me. So he kind of gave up, because he probably realized that it's a little harder to catch me than he thought. He wasn't able to. But anyways, then he's out there. Well, I talked to Guitar Case Man a little bit about his bike, and it looks like he's proud of it and he likes it, so that's good. And I'm like, oh, I got mine from this charity because they fix it. Oh, and then this big man comes out who's an enemy. Well, he doesn't do anything too bad. He does little things. He'll like just say something rude. That's all. I don't think he's done anything else. But this huge guy, he's like, I'm gonna say 6.5 foot tall or 7 foot tall. I don't know, but he's on some type of drug a lot of the time where he's real mellow. But they send him to get me. They probably give him some drugs to come get me, but he doesn't actually want me to be hurt. So that's what I'm saying. This man, I don't think he wants me to be harmed, so he'll do some attack, but nothing too bad. So he'll just say something that's like supposed to embarrass me or humiliate me, and then he just says one thing, and then we talk about something else. So they have to get me. They are sent to get me, and they get paid. Oh, here's some drugs. Here's $20 to buy some drugs. I'm imagining, but anyways, it looks like he likes me though. It like he'll come over and he like just like wants to talk to me. It's weird. But then he's out there too, and he's overhearing. So I am of course being strategic, but also saying the truth. So I just saw Guitar Case Man. He says he has just paid his own money, $555, I think, for this Jimmy Buffett bike. And mine's from this charity, because when somebody slashes my tires or breaks my bike, they fix it for free and they make it better than it was before. They like tune it up and stuff. So I said this because I don't want to say fat, Clean Your Plate Man, and this very tall, he's kind of like mellow man, tall mellow man. They're both out there, and they both tried to get me. So I tell Clean Your Plate Man that I got this from this charity, because when somebody damages my bike, they fix it for free, and then they make my bike better. And he's like, oh, I got mine from the charity too. And then now they all know. Not a good idea to mess with my bike. But they didn't. They had a chance to mess with it before I came out. But this is just another little reminder for them. And then they leave. Now, I've got my regular bag. This is the bag King Herod gave me that I just put my stuff in. I had that, and I also had the milk frother in here, and then I had my water bottle, and I had a big bag full. It had the coffee machine in it. Now, everybody else is gone. I'm just out in the parking lot alone. And if I just hang the coffee machine on the handles, it already feels like they're stretched out a bit. And I'm thinking that it's likely that the handles would rip and the coffee machine would fall on the ground and be broken. And so that can't be the way to do it. So that's when I take a Walmart bag and I did this in there and I tied it around under the handles to make the bag shorter. And so I would use the handles as a second level of protection, but not the primary way of attaching this to the bicycle. So this is something like, it's like that long, and it is kind of heavy. This coffee machine, it has a filter in it, and it has more parts in it, so it's heavier than a normal coffee machine. So maybe maybe it weighs 5 pounds or something. I don't know. But for a plastic bag not to break when I bike several miles with the weight of this, is not. So anyways, as I'm loading this on the bike and I figure out what to do, I'm noticing across the street there is a man. This is a house. Someone lives there. So the man lives in the house has just come outside and he's staring at me. So I believe someone has paid this man to watch and to curse. And if he didn't curse, he is to watch and document. So he's a spy, or he's attacking me and a spy. So it takes me a few minutes to get all this stuff situated. And so what I do is I actually take my bike lock and I wrap it, and there's just enough room to wrap the bag with the coffee machine around my handlebar and then lock the bike lock. So it's just the perfect size. And the carafe so where the carafe met the rest of the coffee machine went in a little bit, and then that kept the bike lock in place. And this held my bike all the way home. But it's more than that. It rested this high above my wheel. And if my rolling wheel touched that plastic bag, it would rip that bag. It'd probably pull it down, and then my coffee machine would be broken. Or I'd have to walk it back with my bike. I don't know. But even walking it, the handles probably were not strong enough and would fail. So what I did is then I looped the handles, bag handles around my handlebar as a secondary in case the bike lock failed. So if the bike lock fails and then the bag drops a little bit, then it'll still be held on with the handles before it hits the ground. So, but it never did. And as I was leaving, I prayed to God that I could get the coffee machine home safe, that God would get the coffee machine home safe. But actually, so what happened is I know they were still cursing me with witchcraft spells. The man across the street who was watching me, he's standing out there. This is like 2 minutes. He's standing there and he's facing me and he's watching me. And then I put my bag on my handlebar, and then I put the coffee machine next to it. Or no, I put the bag on the other side because it was too big. I put the coffee machine on. Then my bike starts to fall because of the weight of these things on the handlebars. The kickstand won't hold it. So then my bicycle just falls over kind of gently. It falls over onto the ground. Nothing is broken. It just fell over, but it didn't impact hard. So then at this point, the man across the street turns around and he goes back into his house. He has done what he was told to do. So he knew that my bike fell over. And he can tell this to the kingdom of darkness. He might have cursed me or been doing magic to cause that to happen. But he might have just been there to document that it happened. I don't know. But he was staring at me, and as soon as the bike falls, he goes away. He's gone. And then I pick the bike up. Everything's still fine. And then I start biking. Now, the witchcraft attacks are not over yet. This was a soup kitchen with like 60 people in there. A lot of enemies. Some familiar faces from the old soup kitchen. We got a big man came in who was not Haitian. And of course the volunteers there, a lot of them try to get me. So then I start to bike, and I'm not going real fast. I'm not going slow either. I'm just kind of going normal, like a leisurely pace. So it's not slow, but a lot of times I'm hauling it. I'm going fast. But this time I just kind of go at a leisurely pace because I don't want to bounce too much and upset the coffee machine. And they know this. So then I get out of the parking lot, go to the end of the block, and then I start going down the major road. Then I get about a block down, and I notice there's dogs chasing me. And these are not big dogs. These dogs were a little scary, though. These dogs were... So then I notice, I hear barking, and right next to me, and I'm trying not to bike too fast, because I don't want the coffee machine to fall off and get broken. Right next to me are two little chihuahuas, but they look like they want to bite me. And then like I'm biking, and their mouths are like they could bite my leg if I stop. But then there's also like cars coming the other way. I don't want these dogs to get hit by a car. I don't want my leg to be bitten, and I don't want my coffee machine to break. I didn't stop. I didn't cry. I kind of started to bike towards the center of the road, so probably the oncoming traffic, they were a little concerned. I got kind of close to the middle. I did not go in the other road, but I was kind of going towards the middle, kind of thinking this might get the dogs to go away. They were both coming for me, barking, and it looked like they were trying to bite my leg. And then I just kind of calm, and I look at them, and then I keep biking, because and I go towards the center, and then all of a sudden they chased me for like a block. Had I stopped, I believe they would have bit me. They looked like little hunting dogs. They were hunting my calves. So, anyways, they sent dogs after me. But then as I start to go to the center of the road, so maybe this was a save by the Lord. Because then there's a truck coming the other way at the same time. And I start to get over, hoping these dogs will go away. And then I kind of get close to the truck. So maybe at that point the owner calls them back. Because maybe if that didn't happen, they wouldn't have. But then I bike back home. Let's see if I missed something else here. Yeah, I did pray that God helped me get my coffee machine home, and the Lord did. I got it home perfectly safe. I actually set it up and tried it, and I've only run water through it, but it looks like it works, and it looks like a good machine. And I also tried out the Coco Motion. Anyways, it looks like it makes little tornadoes. That's fun. So I really made out with those. I never would have purchased these myself. So maybe it's a $50 coffee machine. It is used, but it works and it was clean. And the frother looks nice too. So then I keep going, and I bike past this mental health facility. And it's Friday, and they have groups on Friday. But it's not every Friday, but I just thought, it's Friday. And I went to look at my watch to see what time it was, because I was just passing this building. Because just thinking, what time is it? Maybe I can stop in the group if I'm supposed to. I look at my watch. It was 1:17. So let me think. And I think the amount of seconds... I really think there was seconds after the 1:17 too. And then I tried to add it up in my head, and I thought all of the digits, including the seconds, added up to a 17. I think they did, but I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't really remember, because I tried to add it in my head, and I think that all the digits added to a 17, but I'm not 100% sure. But the watch did say 1:17. And then I realized they only have this group every 2 weeks. So then I kept going. Oh, here's something I forgot to mention. So when I'm leaving my house and biking to the soup kitchen. And I get on that side of town, and I'm on Main Street, which is no secret. Every town has got a Main Street. I get closer. I'm 2/3 the way to the soup kitchen. then I look on the, I bike and I kind of am looking for what people put on the ground. I have to. I've been getting signs with lots of roadkill, dead animals, dead birds, but also people put like big stones, obstacles, traps, curses, all types of things they litter and put on the road and on the sidewalk. So I actually have to be scanning this. Well, I noticed I was biking on the road, and they know you're supposed to bike over to the side. And right there where I was biking, I passed. This is no joke. It was a lock and key. And not a little one. Like the kind you would put in an industrial cabinet. So not for a door, not a regular door, but like a big locker or cabinet. So it was like probably this long. I think it was about this long with the key. So it had the lock with the key sticking out of it. So this was a sign from God. I have never seen this before, and it was on the road, and it was on the part of the road, like over to the side where you would bike. It wasn't all the way over. It was like a couple feet from the side of the road, where if you were biking, you will see this. So I biked right past a lock, a cabinet lock with a big skeleton key in it, laying on the road. This is God speaks to me this way. I don't know who put that there, but it was a message. So maybe the key was in. The key was in the lock. So I think it's a good sign. Okay, let's see what's going on here. There was a dead animal that I could not identify. Okay, I'm skipping stuff I already talked about. Oh, I did tell Clean Your Plate Man that the bike I gave MK Ultraman, that said that's gonna be worth a lot one day. And he's like, oh, I think because I think MK Ultraman was not using this bike, and I assumed he sold it, but maybe I assumed they sold it, but maybe they still have it somewhere. But while the Jimmy Buffett bike was out there, and he just right up told me it was $555 or something close. 550 something, I don't know. Then Clean Your Plate Man was right there, MK Ultraman's friend, and I said, that bike I gave MK Ultraman, that's going to be worth a lot. And he's like, oh, well, the one with the weird, and so he knew that it was a brand that was valuable, and that it was European. But when I'm talking about valuable, I'm not talking about the brand of bike. Like maybe they could sell it for $800. Like to a bike store that resells it for more, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that bike is going to be worth a lot because it belonged to me. But maybe they don't think ahead too far. I assume they've already sold it, but who knows? Maybe they do have it. Okay, so I'm heading down Main Street on my way home. And this road has got like 3 train tracks. But most of them it just goes through. And it won't be blocked for long. But then the tracks, like right as I'm coming up to the one track that takes a long time. This is no joke. I'm rolling towards it. And then it's like a block away. And then the lights start going. And then the bridge or the flag. What do you call that? There's like a big metal pole thing, and it lowers down, and it blocks. Oh, it's a gate. Now you say it's a gate, but it's just like one skinny, straight. Okay, anyway, so the gate closes, and the lights go down right as I'm coming up. Excuse me. I had to cross, so right as I need to cross this street to get home, then the bridge lowers and a train comes. Now, I've got the coffee machine on my bike, so I don't really want to backtrack and go around and go up and down hills. I'm trying to drive kind of smooth and be careful with the coffee machine. So, I actually stop and I watch the train. I watch it for a while. There might have been some messages in the numbers or spray painted on it, but I don't know. I wasn't paying too much. Like, I looked at it, but If there was, I don't remember. Excuse me. Um. I need a minute here. This stuff's kind of out of order, so. So I believe the train also is witchcraft. Just anything to be annoying. Like my bike will fall over, or the train comes and I gotta wait 5 minutes. Some of them, the train will just stop for like an hour. Because if they have an overpass somewhere, even though you're not supposed to bike on the overpass, but it's very car centric. Even though this town is perfect for biking, some things are not set up for cyclists. But I was thinking, like, I had just went to the Haitian church a different day. On Sunday. So I guess it's Friday now. And that's why they sent a Haitian to curse me. And now they were going to the soup kitchen. So this is a big operation since I went to their church. But I believe I was supposed to go because God had me stop there, and then I saw the pastor. And I knew at some point I need to go back. But they were not working with the locals. I'm thinking, like, they kind of segregate. They keep to themselves. They're not speaking English. They're not working. They're not doing things or activities with the Americans. And so now they went to the soup kitchen, and there was people speaking in English to them. There was other Americans in there. So this could be really good for them, because, like, this is what normally happens, is the enemy comes to get me, and then God uses it for good. So these people were segregated in their own group, and not, like if I would try to say hello, a lot of times they'd sit there and not say anything. Now they are forced to come and interact with the rest of Americans, and I don't know. I mean, what's the point of being here if you're not gonna, talk to anybody or anything? So I think this can be really good, because I think that the whole system is bad. It's set up so they bring people over that can't speak English, and then they don't even tell us, and they don't make groups and programs where we can get together. There was some, like, English learning classes, but it's only Haitians, I believe. It's not Americans. I was thinking they need to have activities and groups where the Haitians and Americans are together, and then they do things together. So it's like, oh, learn English at this, but there's no Americans there. So I'm noticing, like, a lot of these enemies, they don't want the Haitians to go, and they sit they're like, oh, but at the same time, then the Haitians are by themselves and they're not interacting. So these people are liars. They have said that. Because they're not going and doing things with them or helping them or talking to them. They're only using them as a political tool and as a weapon, or to cause some conflict. Like, because some people are against, I want to say people are against legal immigration. But because it's an issue that people can disagree, then they like this. But then they just use these people, and they don't want to help them, and they don't want to do anything with them, and they don't want to interact with them. So actually, this would be really good if some of the Americans and the Haitians can become friends, learn how to communicate and stuff. So this actually could be a good step for that to happen. Because they don't feel welcome. And I asked there was someone there that could speak English. They said they don't feel welcome. But also, I tried to talk to them, and they don't understand. And then I said a few things, and then the woman turned away and just ignored. And this is a cultural difference, because this is when they don't understand, they ignore and don't say anything. This is very rude in America. This is very rude and will hurt people's feelings. But I think culturally, this is what is accepted. And so, like, with no one to explain that, then people are going to get their feelings hurt. But just getting them involved, and the Haitians were getting the free stuff. They were doing the raffle, so that's really good. And some of the volunteers are a little straightforward, a little rough, a little mean. Some of the volunteers, not all, but so maybe they're not comfortable with being talked to aggressively. I don't know, but maybe that's what's necessary to, here's one extreme, here's another extreme. We need to unite and come together. And there needs to be some way, even if you can't understand the same language, that you can communicate. So maybe this will cause that to happen. Okay, there was a dance in the evening. Okay, so my town, it's not a town, it's a city. My city has tons of things going on, like all summer. In the downtown area, if I bike a mile or like 2 or 3 miles, there's always something going on the weekend. So they had dances going on this evening. And I'm not a dancer, but there was live performance, and it's something that's been held for more than 80 years. They do it every year, and they've been doing it for 80 years, and it's free. And it is sponsored by these local restaurants, which is relevant. So, anyways, then the dance started at 7. So when I did get home, I rinsed out the coffee machine, the frother. I tried them. That took some time. It looks like they work. I don't remember what else I did. And then I left, and it was like 7:15, and I'm leaving. Probably take me 15 minutes to get there. And then I'm biking, and I noticed there is another man on a bike, and I pass him, and he's like, oh, hey. And then I realized the man that used to own this house before is outside, and he called me over. Or he's like, hello. And so then I stop. I don't go to the dance right then. I turn around, and I bike across the street. And we start talking. Now, this was a divine appointment, and we were supposed to have a discussion. So, I don't want to miss anything. So then, I'm a couple blocks from my house, and I just kind of started up the hill. I haven't went up the hill yet. And then I see the man who used to own my house. And he's told me, oh, at the end of your block, if I would go the other way, at the end of my block, he said there was cops there. There was cops there. So, my house is not the last house on the block. Maybe 3 houses down, and then there's a road. And so, he said, let me think about it. Yeah. I think 3 houses down, and then there's a road. So, he said right there was cops, and they were arresting someone. And he said, and he said a name, and this neighbor. He said that, yeah, he has a gang. They gotta say the truth. He's like, he's a good man. He has a gang. I said, and I'm like, this house, that house, and I mentioned, oh, they got a tent in the backyard. He's like, oh, no, on the other side of the street. I'm like, oh. So I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that is. He says, yeah, he's a good guy. He has a gang. He's a gang leader. He's told me before. So this man has also told me before, yeah, the gangs, they're all around you. Yeah, they're on my street. Well, they were on my street. And they can't do anything. I think that's fine. They know. They mess with me and they find out. And I think that's what this is. Because, and I think that the guy that lived at this house before, he seems like a good man that's honest. That if he was paid to do a job, he would do a job and he would try to do it right. But what I do think, is that he doesn't always, he can't necessarily discern or tell who is good or bad. So he can get taken advantage of or think bad people are good, is what I am saying. So he came to me and mentioned, oh, there's cops right down. They said, yeah, the neighbor, do you know this neighbor? I said, no, I don't know that person. The people that live right next to me are afraid of me and don't want to talk to me. I knocked on the door because they the post office misdelivered a package and they were afraid to come out. So no, I definitely don't know the one a few houses down, but apparently the cops got him. The cops got I didn't realize what he was saying right at first. So as I'm leaving to go to the dance, this man's on his bike and he's like, oh, hey, Jennifer. And he's like, do you know the neighbors down there? And he said the name. And I'm like, well, I'm not good with names. Who's that? And he said, oh, this house there. And I'm like, oh, that one that has a tent? Like, no, the other side of the street. I'm like, no, I have no idea who that is. So I think this previous owner believes that I was behind it, and he knew this person when he used to live in my house. He actually, he's being nice to me, but I think he was asking me, do you know this person? Because he assumed that I was behind the police arresting him, but he also had to let out that he has a gang. I don't know who this person is. I don't know. I don't think, maybe I've waved hello. I don't think I've ever spoken to. I definitely didn't know their names. And then where we're stopped, and then he's like, so then we're stopped a couple blocks the other way. He's like, you see that house right there? I said, yeah, that one? He's like, oh no, that one. Okay, so a couple houses from where we're standing. He's like, do you know the people that live there? He said, they're good people. They're real religious. I said, no, I don't know those people. He said, have you seen them outside? They'll come up and talk to you? I said, no, I don't think so, because I just bike past and I'm not, there's normally nobody out there when I'm leaving. I said, I don't know who lives there. I don't think I've spoken to the people that live in that house. It's a couple blocks down. And then I'm putting things together. I realize in this conversation what he was saying. And then he was saying how people had done bad things to him and he's been screwed over. And I was telling him, so I said, I don't know those people. But then I told him, well, judgment's going on right now. I said, judgment's going on. And he said, people were taking advantage. Or he said he can see. Oh, I mentioned witchcraft to him. He said, oh, how are you doing? I said, with my house and everything. I said, I've been under attack for 2 years. All this spiritual warfare. I said, do you notice, do you get attacked? And he's like, yeah, he gets attacked a lot. And so, and I said, and then I mentioned how God's judging people now and giving out the karma. And I told him about Wood cursed me with fat spells. And I told him that a tree fell in his car and totaled his car. And I told him, I told him a few other examples. And I said, instant karma. I said, people do something to me and then they get instant karma. And I said, I'm just here. I'm not doing anything. People come and attack me. They use witchcraft against me. And then God renders the judgment. And so, I don't know if this is before or after in this conversation. I'm understanding the previous owner and the whole neighborhood thinks that I'm doing this, that I'm a magician or something. I didn't even know these people. I had no idea who they are or what their names are. And I don't think I've spoken to them. I had no reason. If I was magical and able to destroy their lives, then I would have no reason to, because I don't know who they are. But apparently they know who I am. And through just talking to him, because he asked what's going on, and then I told him. And that explained what he wanted to know about, because he let me know right then there's a bunch of cops at the end of my block arresting the neighbor that he knew. And then he's like, that house there, do you know those people? I said, no. Then I know something bad has happened to those people, and his ex-neighbor is being arrested, and he's asking me if I know them, because he believes that I probably did it. And I told him, like, and he said, and he gets upset when people take advantage of him and do bad things to him, and he wants to go. And I said, don't attack him. Let God do it. I said, judgment's happening in real time. Let God do it. I said, if you try to go after him, it won't be that effective. But God's judgment is perfect. And I said it, and I told him, like, the next day, people are getting karma. It's like God is, and I told him, it's judgment day. It's judgment day. People, and I said, God uses me to judge people. So, like, that's why I'm in the situation I am. People have a chance to hurt me or to help me. And I said, unfortunately, most people want to hurt me, and then they get karma. I said, but if you're upset, like, don't do anything about it. Leave it to God. Because then I told him how God renders justice. And I said, I'm seeing it right now. I see the karma right now. So, and I told him, if you don't try to get justice and you give it to God, then it's going to be a lot better, and it's going to be fair. It's going to be perfect. God's justice is perfect. It's going to be better than what we could do. And so I think I've answered his. He didn't come up to pick a fight or anything like that. I don't think so. Because I've seen him before, and he says, hey, if I see him. So it's not like that. But I think he's curious. And then he says, well, I think, and he said, well, this neighbor here, and he's got a gang, and he said, and I think the cops and stuff are a gang too. And I think he asked what I think about that, and I said, well, actually, I don't really talk to him or anything, so I don't know. I said, I don't know. And that's the truth. I'm not talking to the police. I said, well, I don't know, because I don't really talk to him, so I don't know. And I guess if you're breaking the law, then that's not a gang if you're breaking the law. But I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. I did try to go to the police and report crimes. There was one officer in there, and that officer was an enemy. But there's a lot of good officers. So, but I don't talk to them, so I don't know. I just know that when people try to kill me, the police arrest them. So I don't care if, like, maybe in the past I didn't like they're arrogant or something. But maybe they're not. I'm saying is that we don't have to be best friends. I know if someone tries to kill me, and I'm not even calling the police, I'm not even contacting the police, then the police sure do stop them a lot. So, yeah, the police are saving my life. But at this time, like, what do you, when you have to be a unifier, you have to be a unifier and unifying and bringing people together. So maybe, I don't know if he will understand what I said, is if they got karma because they attacked me. They got karma because they attacked me. They send people to try to kill me. And then they get upset that they get karma, so they send more people to attack me, and then they get karma, and then they just keep coming. And like that, the Philistine armies are defeated. But I didn't say that. But I am thankful to the police for catching. I've got stuff that happened yesterday and the day before. And then actually, like, but this man, I believe, is a good man. But he can't recognize he can't recognize a wicked person. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know this neighbor. They could be good too. I really don't know. But I know that when someone attacks me, does witchcraft on me, tries to run me off the road, they get karma. And I know the bikers were trying to take me down because they're not happy that they're coming under judgment. Anyways, so then once we're done talking, then I bike up the hill, and then here's the main road on the other side of the hospital. I look down that way, and then several blocks down is the road that this dance is on. So I go up. It's a half mile up the hill around the hospital, basically. There's a hospital here. I go a half mile up the hill. And then had I turned here, I saw cops down there getting someone else. So this is the main road. So that way, and on the road where the dance is, there's a certain street the dance is at. So I think the cops were on that road. They've had people following me, waiting for me. They spy on me. And I don't know if they're trying to run me over. I don't know what they're doing, but the cops are getting them. So these police are doing more good than bad. But as a unifier, when I'm speaking to this man and he sees his friends getting arrested and he's upset, I'm not going to say I love the police. The truth is, I don't know, because I haven't really spoken to them. I said, I'm not speaking to them. I don't know. So there was something that says, get a coffee with a cop. So maybe that is my confirmation that maybe I should do that, so I can speak with them. But yeah. That was the right answer, because I don't know yet. But I do know that they have saved me. Let's see here. So, remember, too, when I was talking to the man that owned the house before, he said, you see that house right there? Do you know those people? No. And he said what color it was. I'm like, that one? No, that. I'm like, no, I don't know them. They were good, very religious people. That means these people were attacking me. I don't even know who they are. And I was just invited to another church that I'm going to this weekend. And then I looked up on their Facebook, and they had a woman's picture on there. And oh, we're sorry, she's just died. Here's an obituary. And now I know people are getting their karma. One of the members of this church got dead. They died. I don't know how they died. But the church I was just invited to, a woman approached me, sat next to me on purpose, and then invited me to her church after trying to get me to be rebaptized and repeat Pauline doctrine. Invited me to her church. I look up the church on Facebook. It says, oh, we mourn the death of this person. It's like, great. So that's why. So that means that this woman that went to the church was casting spells on me, practicing witchcraft, possibly trying to kill me. And then she got dead, and now they're inviting me to their church to do who knows what. I don't know. But it's not going to work, because the Lord is with me. The Lord is with me. Okay. So I get to the dance. I see a man from one of the groups. I say hello. I see Walmart man there. Walmart man, there's most of the people at this dance are old. I don't really recognize many people. They said this dance has been going on yearly for more than 80 years. So I'm seeing like senior citizens, a lot of senior citizens. And people I don't recognize. I only recognized there was a man in a wheelchair, and I recognized a man I call Walmart man, who works with the enemy. So, anyways, I don't know if he could be good too. I think he works on the side of evil. but maybe they're tricking him. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't trust it. But then, like, I walk around the whole thing. I see a few people I recognize from the old soup kitchen. And I think they're good agents, actually. Maybe one's bad and one's good. And they don't look at me, but they know I'm there and I know they're there. But there's a bunch of people I don't know who they are. And then there's Walmart man waves me over. And so there are so many people, everyone's brought their own folding chairs. But then Walmart man is sitting on a picnic table and there is a free seat right next to him. Well, that free seat wouldn't be there if it wasn't a trick and a trap. So it surely was. But anyways, I don't mind. I talked to him a little bit. See what Walmart man... I don't know if he did something or not, but at some point then he gets up and he leaves, and then I scoot over, and then I have more room, actually, because it wasn't really good at first. Because he was on it's a small picnic table, he's on this side, I'm on that, but there's like some bird crap on this table and on the seat. So I gotta kind of scoot over to not sit on it. So he gets up and leaves without saying anything. And then I kind of scoot to the middle of the bench. Now I've got more room. So I have this whole picnic table to myself. And this has to be planned, because someone else would be sitting there if it wasn't a trick and a trap. And so that means there are more people there that are aware of what's going on. And there were many more tricks and traps set up. So at the end, they had some good music. They had some talented musicians. There was people having fun dancing. It was actually really nice. But, I'm not a dancer. So then I had some religious material I brought with me, and I just was reading it. Because I'm supposed to read this stuff. If there's something wrong with it, I correct it. And so, and there's still a few things I'm like, God's still teaching me. So, but, at the end of this, they mentioned... So I got there a little late. But maybe I would have been able to get a raffle ticket if I showed up on time. I don't know. I got there a little late. And so then they were giving out... And so basically, that event is funded and it's paid for by these popular local businesses. And so now what they did is, I guess maybe people could have paid for these raffle tickets. They either paid for the raffle tickets or they were free. I really don't know. I was late. But somehow these tickets were for like gift cards at some restaurants. Yeah, that's what it was. And this was part of the planned attack. So then the first thing they say, oh, here's this restaurant and this prize, you can use this for a free pork sandwich. Pork, I think they said sandwich, but it was pork. That's what they didn't say anything else. They said this voucher, this gift card's for this restaurant, or maybe it was a coupon for a free thing. They said this is for a pork sandwich. They said pork something. And I know the only thing, so that's my sign. I got to go to this restaurant. And then there was another restaurant that was giving out, they gave out several free gift cards for free food. And this is a burger joint, and I was hungry. And it had cheap burgers. So they mentioned this like 3 times while I'm hungry. And they know that the soup kitchen had a small meal today. The soup kitchen, there was a side I couldn't eat because I had pork in it. The dessert I didn't eat. I only had 1 coffee. So they mentioned this burger place several times. The burger place is open until 10, and it was like 9 o'clock at this point. So this is part of the attack. Of course I don't get the gift card. But I thought, I can't afford to buy food, but I am hungry. It's almost Sabbath, which means that tomorrow I can't go out and buy things till the sun goes down. By that point, everything's going to be closed. So I better stop and pick up something yummy tonight. And they got me thinking about this burger joint. Okay, so now I was reading my religious materials. I just started how to study the Bible because they know. Well, anyways, there's just several things in here I was looking at. And so there was actually some good doctrine and a couple of lies, but actually a lot of good things in there too that I read so far. And so just there was a verse in this pamphlet and I came across it and it was a message for me. This pamphlet was given to me by a woman at the soup kitchen. And she had an extra one. She said she was reading it. And then the verse on this pamphlet was John 14:3. 14 plus a 3 is a 17. John 14:3. It says, I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you. We all know what this is talking about. Well, here's the home that God has reserved for me, and it's destroyed. Now, I've heard more than one thing. I've heard clues and hints that this is going to be fixed, but I've also heard prophecies that I have to move again. I've heard prophecies that this is only a temporary place. This is the most beautiful house if it wasn't wrecked. It's wrecked so much it'd probably be cheaper to tear it down. But this has got great bones. I've heard 2 prophecies. Basically, my life, I'm thinking, I heard 2 prophecies. This will be fixed, and I have to move again. So I guess I'm going to have 2 houses. Because this is a historical landmark. And someone mentioned to me possibly turning this into a museum. Or a second home. I don't know what God plans. I love this house. I never got to enjoy it. I would like to enjoy this house. But what I was hearing is that there's messages like you've done all you can in this city. And that's why. So, and maybe because the attacks the enemy as a permanent location, it's not ideal. I don't know. Maybe there's someplace else. I don't really care about safety of me. But it's not that the house is awesome, even though it's been wrecked. And I think maybe that's why it's wrecked. Because I would never want to leave this house. But if I'm supposed to live somewhere else and turn this into a museum or a second home, then actually, things are so bad now, I actually have to leave this house for this home to be repaired. So I don't know. And then this verse just comes up. John 14:3. I go to prepare a place for you. And I'm hearing about restoration. So where's my I need to have another place to live while this is being fixed at least. I don't know. But it's not over yet. We got more stuff still happen. I haven't even got to the attempted murders yet. So then I'm sitting at this picnic table, all by myself. And then shortly before it's over, a man comes and sits at the corner of it right next to me. He's facing the other way. So he's probably got those glasses. There's this type of glasses where they can see behind them. And because I did not cover that yet, I will say I'm going to make another video. As I went around the military building where it's got Marines, it's got, this isn't the reserves, it's got Marines, Army, Space Force. There's 3 or 4 different types of military in this one building. A half mile from my house is the military recruiting center, which I figured out they're sending a lot of agents. They've hired people here. They've hired probably CIA. I don't know what these Army, Navy, all these different groups. Navy is probably not going to be walking around. Then you got MK Ultraman. What if he walks in there and they send him after me? I don't know. But now I've got I already had the veterans coming after me. Then I have the Haitians coming after me. Now I have the bikers coming after me. I still have the Black Witches. They still didn't get me, so they'd still be happy to do that. The White Witches would still be happy to get me, so when I do show up at their locations. Yeah, so the military, and the Haitians are just, and the bikers are just, that's from last week. Those are the new enemies from the last week. And then you can add on all the other enemies before that. So this man, he is, actually I can note, and then he sits down and I feel the seat move. Like he sits pretty roughly. So then I feel a little movement and I turn and look. Because actually I turn and look at him. Because I thought that he was trying to tell me something, or like the way he sat down is almost like he wanted to tell me something or wanted my attention. And he didn't, but it just seemed like it. So then I looked at him and I noticed he was facing the other way. He was not real skinny, but like you could tell that he was fit and kind of muscular even though he was small. So he was probably military. And so he sits there, and he's kind of like, why is he facing backwards? Because the musicians are the other way. And he just comes to sit, and like I'm in the middle of this table. This table really only sits 2 people comfortably, and I'm sitting in the middle. So he's just on the corner. This is not comfortable. And he's sitting next to me. He sits there for like a minute. And then he stands up to go. But when he stands up, he just barely touches my arm with his arm. This is easy to say it's an accident because he's facing, so like if I'm here, then he's behind me on the corner facing the other way. So he probably had those glasses on. I don't know what all they do, but they're trained. They know what they're doing. He gets up, he just barely touches me as he gets, barely. And then I figured, I know what this, well, I thought this is probably an attack. This is what I thought. This is probably an attack. And then I remember hearing about CIA and stuff where they got like little darts or they just touch you or blow something. Okay, this is what they did. This is what they did. So then the man leaves. Okay, so behind me where people had brought their chairs with them. It was mainly old women, like with the gray hair. That's what was behind me. Gray hair women with their folding chairs, and one had a walker. So there was actually like a pillar right next to, so here is my picnic table. It gives me a view right into this dance floor to see the musicians and to see the people dancing. Right next to that is a pillar that holds up the building. A woman has folded up her walker and placed it there, and then I rolled up my bike and put it right next to her walker. So at this point, the old women now, I know, are involved in this military hit on me. This was a military man. Now, he got me when he stood up. I didn't run away. I didn't try to stop it because I trust the Lord. But then an old woman gets up, and I saw some cute old witches like a couple weeks ago. And she gets up, and her walker is behind my bike. So then she takes her walker out and then folds it, and I didn't notice right away. I look and I notice she's moved her walker. She's got her phone out, and she's taking a picture of my bike. And she's not just taking a picture of anything. I ordered these stickers off of Temu, and it says, warning, protected by Jesus. So right on my bike frame, I have a sticker. It says warning, it wraps around. So one side you just see warning. The other side you see protected by Jesus. It's right on the top. Like, so here's the seat. So it's right in front of where you sit down. And it's at the top. So if someone approaches my bicycle to steal it, they see warning, protected by Jesus. Well, the way I had my bike positioned against the wall, you could see the warning, but you could not see the protected by Jesus. So I believe this woman was a witch, because the CIA, they're all witches, warlocks too, and she was behind the bike to get her walker, and she took a picture of my bike. It was pointed right at where this sticker was. The sticker that says, protected by Jesus. And then I just read in the little pamphlet that about my new home, my many mansions. A mansion can be an apartment, it can be a home, it can be a mansion, it can be anything. Just what you would like the most. But anyways, Then she gets up and she takes a picture then. Right after the guy gets me, then she goes to take a picture. And she probably took a picture right away because she saw what is the source of her power. We're all trying to take her down. There it says on the bicycle, protected by Jesus. She pointed it right at that sticker. And then I think she also took a picture of me too. And then she left. And then within like 30 seconds, so about 10 seconds later, I start to feel kind of like hot and yucky, like when you've been poisoned. And like maybe my heart's beating a little faster. So I know what this feeling is. They have poisoned me so many times, actually, that I probably have a super high tolerance at this point. They have poisoned me a lot. Maybe Mount Calvary, they put so much poison, I thought it was lights out. And then that Dr. Pepper, they put so much poison, I thought that was lights out. And this military man, his arm just barely touches mine, like you can hardly feel it. And then within like 10 seconds, so in the span of 10 seconds, I see the old lady get up. She is getting her walker out, but she did it then so she could get a picture of me. And then she gets a picture of my bike that says protected by Jesus and me. And I'm alive. And I feel this feeling come over me. It's almost like a little bit like you have to throw up, and then like a little race, like a little anxiety. So I know what they have done. And I remember hearing on History Channel and other things about these weapons. That's what they used on me. But they have been poisoning me for my whole life, actually. But really in these past 2 years, really in the last year. But even before then. So, but you cannot defeat a servant of the Lord. So this man tried to kill me. Anyways, then I waited out a little bit, and then I'm fine. When it's time to go, I notice there is a woman and her husband behind me. They're taking a long time to leave. I see them. They're busy talking to other people. So I wait and I go back. I go inside. It's like a covered area where the dance floor is. I don't know what you call that. A pavilion, a gazebo. So then I just kind of bike around, and then I bike inside there to look around because people are leaving. And this couple, I recognized this woman from the first church God had me go to. This was a good woman there. And she actually knew some things that were going on. She perceived some things that other people did not. She didn't know as much as me, but we talked a little bit. And she was noticing things too. And so then maybe she is... she's helping her husband and it's just taking him like 5 minutes to fold up the chair and stuff, and they're talking to other people. And this is probably on purpose too, because there are spies and enemies still there. Then they mostly all clear out after like 5 minutes. And then I go back, and then she's still there. And then and then I'm like, oh, I think I recognize you. And she said, yeah, it's Jennifer. She knew my name right away. She sat behind me, and I don't remember seeing her. Maybe she was there before, or maybe she sat there because I was there. I don't know. But I think she knew who I was right away, and she was just talking to other people and not looking at me until they left. Yeah. And she told me, or she said, how are you doing? And I said, I'm good. But I got a lot of I've had a lot of spiritual warfare in the last 2 years. And she said, I know. She said, I know. Didn't say anything else. That means she understands. The church that kicked me out and filed a restraining order at their family fun day. They had a family fun day. And King Herod told me to go. He was surprised I showed up. I showed up. So the pastor and his narcissist sidekick kicked me out, and they were trying to just get me to leave. Like, if you don't leave, you're going to get in trouble. You know, you could be arrested. And, like, I had to wait for the police. I'm like, nope, prophecy must be fulfilled. They knew what they were doing, and I knew if the narcissist is trying to make me walk away, then I gotta stay. That's all I'm gonna say. So they filed a restraining order. This was actually graduating this church because they taught me about some of the ways the churches work at this Baptist church. And so this woman had learned a lot more, and after I'd left. So it has been, actually, thinking about it, it's probably 2 years, or no, it's at least a year. No, they're holding the fun days later this year. Okay. So it is more than a year since the police escorted me out of this church event and filed a restraining order. This is the church this woman went to. She was sitting behind me, and when everyone else had left, she said, "Our church is having the family fun day," and she said the date. She told me the date the family fun day is. That was my notification from God. It was mentioned a couple times. This is my instructions from the Lord. I have to go back to that family fun day. And I don't know what is going to happen. But before then, she asked, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Good." Even though a lot of things aren't good. I said, "Good." I said, "But I've been under a lot of spiritual warfare." She said, "I know." Not like, she said, "I know." And she was serious. So that means that their church leadership is still actively attacking me. So she knows I'm under spiritual warfare. She's still going to this church. They were attacking me while I was going there. But I kind of just didn't think about them anymore. She's confirmed to me that the people running this church are still attacking me more than a year later. So that's cool. And I get to go back to the family fun day event. Maybe they'll give me another restraining order. I don't know. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll concede and reform and repent. Because that, the Lord is long suffering and gives everyone a chance to repent. It's better that you do it yourself, because if not, when God renders judgment, it's going to be worse than if you just did it yourself. If you just made the changes and stopped being evil, that would be a lot better for you. But let's see what they do. I don't know. So anyways, then, see. No weapon formed will prosper. That means it won't work. It can still work somewhat, but it won't be successful. It won't destroy you. It won't kill you. Okay, so I was told about the new family fun day. So I don't have any family, but I can still go and attend their family fun day, as I did before by myself. You would think the church would want to help a single woman, but no, they don't. Anyways, so they were giving out at the end of this event, and it was some good music. And then it's like talking about our sponsors. They pay to host this event every year. It's local burger joint. They mentioned several times, and then they also gave gift cards to the kids that were helping pass the rewards out and things. And so I was thinking about it. I really could have used a gift card, but I got a credit card, and I'll just get one burger, and it won't be that much. So I'm pretty hungry. It's going to be Sabbath soon. I celebrate when it's completely dark. So the sky, it's getting dark. It's after 9 o'clock. But it stays, there's still some light in the sky till like 10 o'clock. Because it's summertime. And for me personally, I always do Sabbath once the sky is completely dark. And this is because I don't have a cell phone. I don't always have a watch. I look and I use my eyes. This is the way I choose to do it. You might choose to do it a different way. But, so then I bike and I go to this local burger joint. There's one right on my way home. And I am hungry. I'm hungry. And there's still a little light in the sky. I got time. This one has a drive-through. So I've been told by people before, they didn't even know if the inside was open, but they have a drive-through. They didn't know if there was an inside, it's small, and they thought maybe it was shut down. But everybody just goes through this drive-through. And so then I'm wondering, like, can I go through the drive-thru on my bike? Normally they don't even, normally they don't notice if you're on a bike. They use some sensor that if it's a heavy car, it will alert them, and otherwise they won't take your order. So then I roll up, I'm on my bicycle, and then here's this, the microphone. I'm like, hello? There's someone on the other side. And they're like, oh, go ahead and order. Now, I think they normally would not take the order on the bike, but someone was watching me, and they were talking about this burger joint so much, they knew they do this to get me thinking about it. And I was thinking about it, and I was hungry, and they knew I had a small meal for lunch. So they knew I was hungry. So then they knew this was the one that was on the way home. And the woman is like, oh, go ahead and order. She's being real nice. And then once I ordered, then she actually opens the side door. This is a small restaurant. And she says, actually, we're still open inside. You can come on in. Come on in. Go put your bike over there and come on in. I'm like, well, actually, that would be better. And there still is a little bit of light in the sky at this point. It's like 9:30. It's not completely dark yet. But this woman has invited me in. So I know that I'm going to do that. She was being real sweet, real kind. Like, she's like, oh, go ahead and order. I order. She's like, oh, you can come in. Come on in. So then I go in to the checkout line. And they were ready to take my order there, but these were different employees. But the woman that took my order on the drive-thru, then she's like, oh no, and she's already written out my order on an order form, and then she puts that. She's like, oh, here, and she gives it to them. They were about to take my order again, and she gives them the card, so they don't. And then that woman is like, oh, do you want a tray? So there was different people doing the drive-thru window, and there was different people doing the cash register inside. And so then the woman that was doing the drive-thru comes over, and she's like, oh, do you want a tray? I'm like, oh, yeah. And then she puts a fries on the tray. I'm like, and so actually this is what I thought right away. I thought this woman probably saw me around on the bike, felt bad wanted to give me a charity, wanted to help. That's what I thought. She just took my order on the intercom. She knew what I ordered. I got a cheeseburger with all the free toppings and none of the paid toppings. And that was it. Well, I go in, she's like, oh, do you want a tray? I'm like, sure. She puts the tray down and puts fries on it. I'm like, oh. So then I thought maybe she was giving me charity. Because if they're going to shut down in the evening, I don't know. She put fries on it. She put a lot of napkins. She put like 8 salts, like 2 things of ketchup on there. Then I get my burger and she's like, do you want a drink? She's like, what do you want to drink? She's like, what do you want to drink? I said, oh, do I get a drink? Does it come with a drink? She's like, what do you want to drink? So then at this point, I'm thinking she's probably giving me charity. She probably knows I'm bike woman. And she's given me charity. And I said, give me whatever's best. The best one. Because I don't know. And so then she gives me not just any free drink. Okay? These fries come out crispy, hot, tons of salt, 2 packages of ketchup, a stack of napkins on a tray. She's being sweet. She's being kind. And oh, look at this. A 32-ounce drink. That's why I had to keep this. This thing is huge. This is huge. And she put something that tasted like kind of like Sprite or something. It was really good. I was like, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. Now, I charged the food, and I shouldn't have really charged it. Well, I should have, because this was a mission from God. And God will restore me. I'm trusting the Lord. It's just that I have to bring in enough money to pay the minimum payment on my credit card. I have to, so I'm trying not to. spend money. But anyways, I'm going to spend less than $5. I'm going to get a burger. I'm hungry. It's Sabbath tomorrow. Then I can eat the canned stuff tomorrow. I can eat my instant potatoes tomorrow. And I go in, and then I only ordered a cheeseburger. She gave me a fries. She gave me condiments. She gave me a huge drink and was nice to me. And then as I'm almost done, well, like after I eat my fries and I eat like half of my burger, there's another employee. And so the store is like closed. There's like no one else inside. It's very small. Most of the tables are put away. They're flipped and they're cleaned. There's only a couple of tables that aren't. And so there's just an employee hanging out there. And I imagine he's waiting on me to clean the rest of the tables. But I also know this is suspicious and I don't trust it. Now, I had eaten the fries with my fingers, and I'd eaten a burger, and it had like a bunch of toppings on it. It was greasy, and it had relish on it and stuff. It got on my fingers a little bit. So then I had this big giant cup, which it was way too much to chug in 5 minutes. So I want to bring this with me and put it in my cup holder on my bicycle. But I need to rinse my fingers. And so the employee's there, and I push the door. There's a knob, and there's one of those back plates like you push here to open. I said, "Is this open?" He's like, "Oh yeah, the bathroom was open." I said, so they were expecting me to go into the bathroom and leave my drink in my bag unattended, then put something in my drink. This was the plan. All of this was very obvious because this employee was like hanging out doing nothing right around my food. And then I had to wash my hands. But praise the Lord, this restaurant was like 100 years old or something. It's really old. So they have tiny little airplane-sized bathrooms. So I get my hand's all greasy. I got a napkin to open the knob with. I prop it open with my leg, and I realize they've got a sink. And I look out there. The employee's still there. So I got the door propped, and I look at the sink, then I look in the restaurant. I look at the sink, I look back in the restaurant. So then I look like this is a very small bathroom. And then I look in the restaurant. Here's the employee. And the employee is only like 5 feet away from my drink. So I can't close the door. But luckily, I was able to lean in, and it was one of those sensor water faucets. And I put my hand under, and I rinsed it off, and then I looked. He couldn't get my... But normally the door closes right after you. Had that happened, and at first I really thought this woman was actually giving me charity. Like she felt bad I was on a bike. This is what it looked like. This is what it sounded like. She gave me all these free gifts. Then a separate male employee was in there, just hanging out doing nothing around my food. So, but when I had to rinse my hands, I left the door open. I leaned. I held my hands under the water, and then I got out of there. And it was kind of cool, like how old this restaurant is. Like they have stuff that's totally not code. Like it was a tiny little toilet, and then the sink's like kind of over the toilet, and then you can reach it from the door. Like that's cool. But like there's no way this could not be built anymore. So back when people were smaller, I guess, back before they started eating the burgers, they could fit in the bathrooms. I'm just joking. It looked tight. I'm small. It looked tight for me. Well, actually, everyone thinks I'm big now for some reason. But anyways, my hands were rinsed. I got my food. I got my drink. I only took a few drinks of it, and then I went back out to my bike. And the sky's mostly dark, but there's still a little bit of dark blue. It's not all black yet. So, I still did not break my version of the Sabbath. So, there's God's version, but that's, you celebrate the night. So, when the sun goes down on Friday. So, what is your definition of when the sun goes down? This, I think if we don't understand that God knows. Like, when does the sun go down? This, you might think it goes down when there's a little bit of light left. So, I don't know. For me, I think the sun goes down when I don't see any light. and so there was still just a little bit of blue, and it wasn't completely dark yet. So I got out of there. I looked at my watch. So the restaurant's supposed to close at 10, and it was 9:55. And so then I come out, and then they got this neat thing that doesn't work that's supposed to turn the cars around. And I biked around there and looked at the parking lot. And then it took me a minute to like unlock my bike and put my bag back on it. And then I go around, and then this is such an old restaurant that the way you get in there, it's not code, and it's not like a modern place, but it wouldn't fit. So it's kind of neat. I just went around their little parking lot, and then I see a truck is in the drive-through line. This is 5 minutes before they close, and this is when I really understood. I kind of was knowing what's going on when the employee wouldn't leave, but then when I was outside, I understood the full scope of that they intended. So there was like what looked like a brand new truck. It was dark, so I could only see the light in the shape. I could see the silhouette of the truck, and I could see the lights on the truck. I couldn't tell exactly what color it was, but I could tell this was an expensive truck, maybe $60,000-$70,000, and it looked like it was a new vehicle, or newer. And there was a man going to the drive-through. And then I had already went up and around the other side, so I was pretty far away at this point. So from the drive-through, I'm maybe like 30 feet, because there's a lane, and then it flips around, and then there's another lane going out. So it's like a double lane here. I'm far away from him. But then the man, he stopped. So he's at the drive-through, but I think he stops maybe even right before the window, and instead of ordering, so maybe he's right at the window where you order, but it's so late, the place should be shutting down, because if they close in 5 minutes, I don't think their griddles and things are still on. So I left it. Yeah, this is something else. This was 9:55. So they probably weren't making burgers anymore, because they were cleaning the restaurant and putting stuff away. So I think this man did not show up to eat. It's like 10 o'clock at night. No one else was there. I was outside for maybe 3 minutes or so. Yeah, I was probably outside 3 minutes. I unlocked my bike, put my bags on it, bike around the parking lot, and then I'm just slowly going out to the main road again. Then I see the truck is there, and the man in the truck is staring at me. And he looks like he's probably evil. So then I understand what the plan was. Whatever they were going to put in my drink, then maybe I would be dead. This man would come and dispose of the body. Or maybe I'd just be passed out with a roofie. This man would come and take me to who knows where and do who knows what. When I saw this man and the way he looked at me, this was what my understanding was. It was clear. I know what a good person looks like. This did not look like a good person. And he was there. The timing of when he was there and how, you pull up to the window, you'd be looking at the window and ordering. He wasn't talking. He was looking at me. So he was called in. But I was very much alive. I got out of there. So this woman gave me free fries. She gave me a big drink. She gave me a bunch of salt. She gave me an extra ketchup. She gave me a stack of napkins. And it was nice. I was like, thank you, Lord. And then I got out of there. Because now, as I said before, they had the bikers trying to get me. Then the black witches were trying to get me again because I walked into one of their meetings. They were having one of their secret meetings, which they say mental health meetings. And so then they were trying to get me that evening and then the next day. And And then the Haitians, because I went to their church service, and then the military, because I prayed over their military base. All the branches of the military and the veterans, since I went to the Memorial Day ceremony, and there was a lot of old people at this dance, and a lot of the veterans. There was veterans there. They actually, during this dance, they played a military song, and they called each branch of the military and had them stand up, and they were applauded. And there are good people there too. I'm not saying this, but in every group with humans, there are God's people and there are the devil's people. So you can't blanket say anything. You can't stereotype. There's no way, because the enemy infiltrates everything. So anyways, there was mosely old people at the dance, but the music was good, and actually some of the old people dancing, they looked so happy, and it was just nice. Like, they really looked happy. It wasn't like a lot of the young people, they're so busy on their phones. There's a lot of narcissists. That a lot of the older people, they were more like what I think humans should be. They, like, you could tell they grew up without cell phones. And so did I. Darn it. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, so then I got home, I recorded the first part of my video, then I got distracted and I started looking at Facebook. I normally don't even look at Facebook, but now they put reels on there, and then I hear gunshots right outside, so it must have been on my block. I heard like 20 gunshots, and this is right after I recorded the video, where I have guns, but I don't keep them holstered. The Lord protects me. I'm not afraid. So then, like 5 minutes after that, then I hear like 20 gunshots right outside of my house. Now, I'm not afraid. The Lord won't let them kill me. You guys don't get it yet. How do you not understand? I think it's Brandon Lake's song, Count Them. Do you not understand? You cannot defeat me, because God is protecting me. And also, God, one way to bring heaven down to earth is judgment and justice. So it is Judgment Day. And day is not one day. It's actually ongoing. Judgment time right now. And part of that judgment is fixing the gender imbalances and inequalities. And a lot of the covens are very angry about what God is doing. And so in the Christian church, they say Father, which is forbidden. They say Son, which it would mean child, but it doesn't even mean that. It means creator and creation. So they say Father and Son, and He and all the prophets are male. Well, God is not pleased about that. And it's through the misuse of the translating of unisex terms. So now, God is raising up females to set the record straight. And the sad thing that people don't even understand in these churches is that the men are afraid, the pastors are afraid of their wives. They are being liberated. So for treating women, human women, as equals, it is liberating the men in the spirit realm. They're being freed too, because it's always balanced. It's like, is it more on earth or is it more in the spirit? This is a longer video, but if you don't understand how things work, the church leaders that are Wiccan, the men have to go to the women. They hold all the power. I just saw this happen with a pastor having to go and ask Jesus, and he was going to see what I always suspected. There is someone else named Jesus, and it's not Yeshua. Well, I think Jesus was the grandma at the church, the head witch they called Jesus. And this is what I mean. The more sexist they are and the more they oppress women, the more the men in the church are oppressed. Then I'm talking about the leadership. So this really needs, God's sorting this out. And so the gangs are not happy about that, and they come after me. As I said, I am the bait. I'm the bait. God is the one who controls the victory. God's the one that hands out the punishment. and also the rewards. But like I told the man that lived at my house before, I'm in the situation I am because people have a chance, they have a chance to help me or hurt me. But unfortunately, most of them choose to hurt me. But then God renders judgment. So he might not have understood everything I said right away, but if he's, it's just something I do too. Sit down and later think about it again and like, oh, all these people in the neighborhood, they're getting arrested, they're getting karma, bad things happen to them. It's not, but she just told me that God is the one doing it. So maybe they'll get the message at some point. It's not just, it has to be me alone, because that is the proof that it's God. But probably something else happened today. But yeah, after I said 2 assassination attempts, well, there's probably more. And then there's just someone shooting. Now I'm thinking that's probably a warning, but you never know. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Oh, I saw police arresting people on my way home too. Well, those people were probably trying to get me. That's what they do. Thanks for watching.